for. Clement is here with the international papers today. Hurricane Irma, Clement, wreaking havoc over Florida and, of course, the Caribbean before it. Papers this morning, though, saying a major catastrophe in Florida, at least, though, has been avoided.
Indeed, thousands of homes have been badly damaged and more than 12 million people are now without electricity. But as the Washington Post puts it, it could have been much worse. The paper says that's because Hurricane Irma had weakened to a Category 3 hurricane when it hit the state and then shifted west, avoiding major cities like Miami. The LA Times, however, warns that it will be a long and messy afterlife, one which will tax the patience of millions. It might take weeks before electricity is fully restored.
Stay in the US for the next story. Hillary Clinton publishing a book today about a stunning defeat to Donald Trump, admitting to personal mistakes and saying as well that she won't run for office again.
That's right. Hillary Clinton told CBS, "I am done with being a candidate." In her book entitled What Happened, she admits to making mistakes during the campaign, for example, using personal emails, but she spares no one from blame either. Her long list of the guilty include James Comey, Julian Assange, Vladimir Putin, and also Barack Obama and Bernie Sanders. So was this book necessary, asks the Chicago Tribune. The paper says the answer is no. It would be one thing if Clinton's book delivered new insights about what went wrong, but it doesn't, the paper writes, and then concludes, after all her reflection, she still hasn't figured out what went wrong.
Pretty damning review there. Let's move on to the Philippines now. This is an interview in the newspaper Liberacion of the UN Special Rapporteur on extrajudicial killings in the country there.
Absolutely. Agnès Calamar told Libération she's been barred from entering the Philippines after she refused to take part in a TV debate with President Rodrigo Duterte and did not want to be part of his communication strategy, she told Libération. She also denounces clear and numerous violations of human rights in the country. This as the government wages a ruthless war on drug traffickers. She says at least 19,000 people have been killed since Duterte came to power 16 months ago.
And of course, the victims here have included teenagers and children as well.
That's right. The Philippine Star reports that the Philippine police deliberately targeted two teenagers in recent weeks as part of its anti-drug war. One of them is Ronaldo de Guzman, who's officially reported as missing. A corpse, though, has been found with at least 26 stab wounds in his chest. Ronaldo's parents have identified it as their son's, but police say DNA tests do not match, prompting many in the Philippines to accuse the police of trying to cover up their crime. The Manilla Bulletin, meanwhile, asks whether Filipinos have lost their consciences, describing the recent wave of extrajudicial killings as despicable. The author of the piece denounces the collective silence of Filipinos and argues that the so-called war on drugs cannot be won with violence.
Yet another story for you now. This in the papers reporting that victory for the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad looks increasingly likely. This, of course, as the world perhaps loses interest, indeed, in the Syrian conflict.
Absolutely, as the media were all waiting for Trump to start World War III. We've not paid much attention to the latest developments in the Syrian war. The regime has recaptured key towns and cities from Syrian rebels, backed by military support from Russia and Iran. And surprising as it may sound, the war is ending, many observers say. Lebanese paper L'Orient Le Jour this morning asks what's next for Syria. The headline reads L'Arabe du passé, the Arab of the past. It's a reference to a popular graphic novel by French author Riyad Sattouf. The paper argues that the real victor, the winner of the war, is authoritarianism. The paper reminds us that 6 years ago, Arabs rose up to demand more rights, and 6 years on, nothing has changed in the Arab world. The so-called Arab revolutions have failed to bring about change, shattering the hopes of millions who sought a better future for themselves.
And we're going to end on a lighter note. A story that might make you hopping mad. Who knows? A surprise announcement, this from the Australian government.
Indeed, The Independent reports that Australians have been urged to eat more kangaroo meat, this as a way of controlling the population. There are some 50 million kangaroos in Australia, nearly double the human population. Experts say such high numbers are a threat to biodiversity, so why not jump on the bandwagon, Stuart?
You're as bad as me. You had time to think about that one, though. I just made it up at the last minute. Oh dear, nothing like a good pun at this time of the day. Thanks a lot, Clement with the papers, and Brian here. He can't get over the puns with business.